But on the other hand, they're very reasonable people. They're both educated, intelligent people. And as the years have gone past, I'm devotee 10 years now, they can see that I'm happy and I'm settled and I'm contented. And that's ultimately all a parent wants for their child.
And how about the cross-religious thing? Ballymurphy, Malone Road?
Well, I never came into it.
No,
never came into
it wouldn't really have bothered my parents.
And it wouldn't have bothered my parents before I became a Hare Krishna. So we weren't Protestant Catholic, we were Hare Krishna and marrying Hare Krishna, so I didn't miss it.
To leave Andersonstown, the pillar of Belfast republicanism for Krishna, was difficult for people there to understand.
My mother was worried, obviously, because I was so young and they thought it was just a phase I was going through. But she was okay after she saw I was happy and that it was what I wanted to do. For 2 years, I waited anyway before I joined, so after that she was accepting that I was going to be a devotee.
A nostalgic journey back to Donnycarney points up how much Pragosh has departed from his native culture and religious beliefs.
I just don't really do anything now that I would have done. And it's just so nice to have the philosophical security of knowing why things happen, you know, and if things don't go well for you, you know, you have the understanding that, yeah, that's karma, you know, that's the way things go, you know, like, I mean, ultimately these things don't matter so much. The main thing is that we prepare ourselves for the time of death and hopefully go back to God, you know, so yeah, totally transformed my life. Yeah.
Food seems to be a huge thing for Hare Krishnas. Besides that, but you're actually working in a cafe. You've set up a cafe here. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, the Hare Krishna movement is sometimes called the kitchen religion because food is a very important part of the whole thing. But we set up the cafe so as people could contact us and come and see what we're doing down here in the community. And also the food, because we make it for Krishna and we offer it, then it becomes purified. It's called prasadam. It means Krishna's mercy. So whoever takes that food will also make spiritual benefit. So that was the idea behind the cafe then.
And we will prepare the food very nicely, and then we will offer the food to Krishna, to God, and then we will accept his remnants, God's remnants. So everything that we do, in a nutshell, we do it with a view to serving God, and that he'll be happy with it.
The beauty of Krishna consciousness is that you can, whatever you are doing, you don't actually have to change. All you have to change is your consciousness. You have to make it into Krishna consciousness. So I love gardening. So instead of doing it for myself, I do it for Krishna. Like I would see this as Krishna's house, and I've made a garden for Krishna. So I love to spend as much time as possible in the garden. And as far as growing all our fruits and vegetables are concerned, Krishna says, you offer to me fruit, flower, leaf and water. So if we can grow those things ourselves to offer, it makes it more special.
So reincarnation is very much in there, is it?
Well, you see, reincarnation, you know, again, is something that a lot of people misunderstand. The simple point is that this body that I'm in now, that you know me as Pragosh, and that I know you as Nick, the body that we're residing in, it won't be here in 100 years' time. In 100 years' time, we'll both be dead. The body will be gone. But we won't be gone. Every religious tradition understands that we're eternal. So the eternal part of us is the soul. So the soul is eternal, the body's temporary. So where does the soul go when your body dies? That's all reincarnation means. It has to go somewhere, whether it goes to heaven, whether it goes to hell, or whether it comes back here. It goes somewhere. So that's all that reincarnation means.
I could never understand why, if God is all merciful, he could consign somebody to hell forever. It just was inconceivable to me. But when it was explained to me that he doesn't do that, you have many lifetimes and you would work your way up according to your pious activities or be punished for bad activities. That was very logical to me and that really made sense.
It's not easy. I mean, attaining love of God is a very difficult thing, especially at this time. But everything that we do is trying to help us along. So that's why the lifestyle is...
And it's very rewarding. You know why you're doing it. It's not as though you're in ignorance that you're just doing something out of ignorance. You know there's a goal and there's an aim that you're trying to attain, you know, so it's very rewarding.
Well, we've got something to live for. When you experience the happiness that a Christian consciousness brings, each day brings a new day. I'm saying you're thinking that today I will serve Krishna, and that Not that you have to think of this very clearly all the time, but you do sometimes, and you think, I've got so much going for me. Especially when I think of the contrast in my previous life. So who wouldn't be happy?
Shaunaka Rishi Das, originally from Wexford, is Director of International Communications for the Hare Krishnas in Europe. He's involved in an interfaith dialogue with various religious movements in Northern Ireland. He resents the Hare Krishnas being described as a cult.
You can say that anyone's a cult, you can point at anyone and say they're a homosexual. What's the basis of that charge? We're very careful about who we take into our kind of seminaries or our ashrams or our communities. In the early days, of course, we took in everybody in our broad approach, but we quickly learned that everybody isn't suitable for that kind of a lifestyle. The vast majority of people who join our community don't join communities as such. They live at home and practice at home according to their own ability. But we're very, very careful with who we allow in, what's their capacity for being able to follow this lifestyle. And we test them. You know, they have to go through an interview procedure, etc.
There has been allegations of brainwashing as well, I mean, in the past. How do you...
Yes, well, in the past, there was one famous case in 1989 when one fellow charged that we kidnapped him, took him to our island, and we held him very much against his will. We wouldn't feed him unless he chanted Hare Krishna, usual kind of charges that you'd hear against wacko cults. So we went to the Chief Commissioner of the Police, and we said to him, if we're doing this, we have to be stopped. And if we're not doing this, then he has to be stopped making such false accusations. So the Gardaí instigated an inquiry based on the fact that if we're doing this, they have to investigate us for kidnapping charges. And he was brought to court for wasting police time, and he was given a 3-year suspended sentence, and we were exonerated from these charges. That's the kind of thing that we had to do. We didn't feel like we wanted to do that, but we had to do it to prove to people these charges are baseless. And there, if there is base to these charges, there are laws in this country that will take care of us. But on the other side, Irish men and Irish women have died so that people like us could express ourselves. Irish people like ourselves could make our own decisions as to what religion we're going to practice.
Has the movement got a social outreach?
Yes, yeah, we have a number of social outreaches. One of the most obvious ones is our Food for Life programme that we do in Belfast and in Dublin. We distribute 4 times a week in Dublin to the homeless and the needy, and once a week here in Belfast. Internationally, we've fed 850 million people to date with that programme. We're presently working in Sarajevo and in Sukhumi and many other trouble spots also. So we're regularly distributing food. Our founder said that no one within 10 miles of our temple should go hungry. So it's like our ethic, or it's very much part of our tradition.